Welcome to Top of the Grid, the podcast hosted by myself, Amber Jones, and the wonderful Scarlett Archer.
Today we have a really exciting guest. It's Weug, and she's going to be telling us all about her journey to F1 Academy and the Scuderia Ferrari Driver Academy. Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. And obviously, you've achieved a great deal throughout your racing career. But can you take us back to the beginning? So how did you get into racing in the first place?
Well, hi, both of you. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me. Well, it started a while ago. I was 7 years old when I started. I used to go with my dad to the kart track just for fun. He used to do some rental karting and so on in the weekends, and I also came along and I really liked it. So me and my brother were always asking to have a go at it. And for Christmas in 2010. So when I was 7, we got a kart as a present. So then that's where it all started. I remember the first lap I did. I really enjoyed it, and since then never stopped.
So do you have a history of racing then in your family, or did you just end up getting into motorsports because you went karting and really enjoyed it?
Not really, to be honest. Like, my dad did it for fun. Actually, my grandma was also doing rallies, but more for fun, never like professionally. So there has no one, like, never someone tried to do it like professionally or seriously, the racing. It was just my dad doing a bit here and there, and my mom never. So I don't know. I was the first one, let's say.
Yeah, because a lot of the time you see that, people's parents are in it or something. So that's how they're kind of surrounded by the track and get into it. So it's amazing that you just went one time and loved it. But not everyone who goes karting ends up where you are. So how did you do that? Can you tell me about how you moved through the ranks? I know you started off karting, but then where did you go next from there?
Yeah, it's quite a long story, of course. I mean, I'm now 20 and I started when I was 7. But no, at first it was just like going every day. Well, not every day, but twice a week when my dad was free in the afternoons for work, like after school, going to the track, and also in the weekends, of course, staying there until it was dark. So always practicing a lot. And then you start on like small, like regional championship. Then you do like from Comunidad Valenciana, so the Valencian community. Then I did Spanish championship, and then it started getting more and more serious, and it just goes very quickly somehow. You don't really realize when it's the point that you say, oh, now it's serious, because at the beginning you're just having fun, and yeah, of course, I mean, I'm still having fun. That's not what I mean, but it just goes so quickly, and somehow you don't realize how quickly you progress, because you always want to get more.
I do want to talk about,
Definitely.
Maya. You won the FIA Girls on Track program. I mean, how did that come about? Where did you hear about the program? And what was that process like?
Yeah, so basically, it was during COVID. So I think everyone had a lot of free time back then. And of course, I was coming to my end of my karting. Let's say I was already 16, I think, in 2020. Yeah, 16. So I kind of wanted to make the step into single seaters, but really was a difficult step to find a way to do that, because of course you need to find more budget and so on, and find a way to do it. And then, I saw the Girls on Track Rising Stars program coming along, and I applied for it, and made it through the first stage. So first we started driving in Pori Kart in karting, and that went really well. So then they selected 8 of us, I think, to go into F4 in Pori Kart, and that also went well. And then we came to Maranello for a week, which was really cool. So mental training, physical, and then of course driving at Fiorano, which was amazing, and that went also really well. And then made it into the academy. So that was a great opportunity to make the step then into single seaters.
Yeah, so talk to me, obviously, about the fantastic Scuderia Ferrari Driver Academy. So you were seen because of the FIA Girls on Track Rising Star program. How was that transition? When did you get that call? How did you feel when you got that call? You've made history being the first woman entering the academy. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was quite a long wait from when I did the selection to when we got the call. I think it was a couple of weeks. I was going to school and so on, and then it was quite a public announcement. So we were all in a video call, and it was public, so everyone could join in.
Wow.
And yeah, I remember the goosebumps and the happiness, not just for me but also for the family being at home and so on. It was a great moment, and from there it just moved very quickly. Then after I think 1 or 2 weeks, I already moved to to Maranello. So yeah, it was a great moment, really.
What is that transition like? I can imagine, being a young person, going through all these different rankings in motorsport, joining the Scuderia Ferrari Driver Academy, then moving to Maranello. What's going through your head in this moment? Like, do you transition quite easily, or was there a bit of pressure and a difficulty, getting used to those environments? Or did you just settle in like an absolute pro?
I wouldn't say it was that easy, but I mean, to be honest, like, you don't really think about it because, I mean, my goal was clear. I know what I want to do, and all the other complications come about maybe a bit later. But that's not something I was thinking about, and everything went so quick that it it just went fine. I just went with it, and it all went really really smooth. I think it was more difficult for my for my family to let me go so quickly, but no, for me it was quite easy.
And you have to in this sport, don't you? If you get an opportunity like that,
Yeah,
you can't hold yourself back, your family can't hold yourself back.
yeah.
It is difficult to let their daughter just go and travel the world and do these things with all these strangers. It must be really difficult for them. You then entered in the Formula Regional European Championship and the Italian Formula 4. How was that entering those championships, and what did you learn about yourself, but also in a driver perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I had to learn a lot, especially the first year in F4. I was doing Italian F4, and yeah, that was a big step from karting to F4 because it's such a different driving style, and there's so many new things. So really having the backing of the Scuderia Ferrari Driver Academy helped me a lot because there was really a lot to learn for me, and I think they helped me a lot from the technical aspect and just on track support, but also off track training and so on. So that really helped me to progress quicker. And yeah, it was a lot of learning, I think, in every aspect. I mean, there's a lot to learn about myself as well, and you keep improving. I mean, it's such a different world, and there's so many things happening every day in our lives. We're never standing still for a week or something. There's always something you learn and something that you want to improve. And no, it's been already a couple of years in here, and it's been great so far.
I
Yeah.
really, really want to ask about the fitness
Mhm.
aspect of jumping from karting into single seaters, and obviously with the Scuderia Ferrari Driver Academy helping you with your training. How different does that sort of fitness regime change? Karting is actually super, super physical, and a lot of
Yeah.
people who don't do karting don't actually realize. But do you find that karting was more difficult? Because a lot of drivers do say that core strength that you need to have, the muscles that you're using in your arms that you're not using anywhere else. Did you find karting more difficult or single seaters in terms of the fitness?
It's quite different kind of muscles you're using. It's quite funny, to be honest, because when you're karting, or when I was karting, I mean, of course, I was going to the gym and so on, but not as much as I'm doing now. Maybe twice a week properly to the gym, and now it's yeah, at least five, 6 times. But if I would go back to karting now after one day of driving a kart, I'm done. I'm super tired. But when I was 10, 12 driving around in a kart, I could do thousands of laps and feel
Uh-huh.
nothing because your body is so used to using these muscles that now I don't use so much in an F4 or Freca car anymore. So it's quite funny because all of us drivers, if we go back to karting, we're really tired after one day. But when we were so small and let's say training less, we were
Uh-huh.
not feeling that. But in the other way, F4 like single seaters is physically tough, especially for upper body, neck, arms, and just core strength. Still, not as much as karting because we have the seat belts on, but yeah, especially arms, shoulders, and neck have to be
Uh-huh.
quite strong in our case, and also the legs because yeah, the brake pressure we have to put on is quite high in single seaters.
Okay, it makes you feel so much better because me and karting, I'm doing endurance karting at the minute.
Yeah,
And wow, the physicality of that, it makes me realize like I want to be that 10-year-old girl again that could do that for hours. And now
yeah,
at 24, fitness gone out the window?
I think when everyone thinks about racing, they think of karting as being the absolute easiest because, people do it for leisure. But honestly, if I go karting the next day, I'm so tired. I don't even want to get out of bed. And one thing we haven't mentioned that we really need to is F1 Academy. So can you just kind of give me like an overview? How has your time been at F1 Academy so far?
Yeah, it's been great. This year has been a good start to it, leading the championship. So that's always a good feeling. We're almost halfway through the season, so it feels good. But yeah, overall, we've been going to really nice tracks and racing alongside F1 is really cool. I think you learn a lot, because I think that's the biggest difference from F4 or FRECA to go to F1 Academy. At the F1 weekends, the track is changing so much from one session to another. When we do FP, there's zero grip compared to when we do quali. After
Yeah.
F1 is driven, there's so much grip on track, and that changes really a lot how we approach the weekend. And of course, you have less track time, so you have to adapt really quickly. But then again, it's we get the best tracks and best conditions, so it's been really great.
Shanghai, that you got your first pole position. Can you tell me what that was like? That must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was really a great start to the season. I mean, testing had been really good. We did 3 days of testing in Shanghai, and it was it was a good start because it's a new team, so there's a lot to learn from each other and how to work together and so on. So it was great to start off the season with a good result and with pole position. First pole position for me in a fun academy felt great. I felt really relaxed, to be honest. When I did my first push on the last run, I saw the lap times, or they told me the lap times, and I mean, I just felt quite relaxed after that because I thought I did a good lap or put a good lap together. So it was really good. Then the race was a bit less, but no, it was a great start to the season, and I think the pace has been there all the way through since testing in Jeddah, Shanghai, and also Miami. Miami was a bit more tricky with the weather, but the pace was there anyway. So yeah, really good start.
You won in Yas Marina. So what was the significance of that?
Yeah, last race of the season last year was in Yas Marina. Was great to get a win because it was a long time coming through the season. Last year we had a lot of podiums, but never had a chance to. Well, never really got a win until the last race. So it felt great to at least have it in at the end of the year. So you come from a high and you can build on from that momentum into the start of this season. But it was a great race. I started P6 and made my way up to the front, and it was a really nice race. It was a lot of battles and a lot of overtakes, and then a safety car very late into the race, which
Yeah.
made it a bit more interesting. So no, it was a great way to end the season.
You moved to MP Motorsport. So how do you think that's influenced your performance and your strategy for this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to start working with new people because
Definitely.
you have again a lot to learn. Everyone has different points of view, and when you go with a new engineer, with a new mechanics, new team, they have new tips to give you, and already since testing, there was a lot we had to work on, and that we worked on together to make the car fit as well as possible to me, and to see how I can work the best way with my engineer, which is really important. But we got along very well straight away, especially with the engineer. It's very important to have a good feeling because they're the ones that have to understand you in all the situations, and how I react or he reacts influences very much on the performance. So it was a great way to start the season with them, and felt good straight away.
And that relationship is so important because, everything that happens off track really does influence things that are on track too. So it just shows how important it is. And obviously, you and Dorian Pan are very close in the standings. So how are you working and approaching the upcoming races to stay ahead of her in the standings?
Yeah, I think we don't really have to change much of what we've been doing. We've been showing very good pace and so on, so we have to keep being consistent and minimize the mistakes, and make sure that the qualifying that I did in Miami doesn't happen again. But other than that, just need to stay focused and
Yeah.
and make sure that every session we do, we try to extract the maximum out of it. And I mean, this year it's quite important, having the reverse grid races. It's quite different compared to last
Yeah.
last year. So this year you can get a lot of points in the reverse grid by having good overtakings and having good starts and so on. So that's a big difference to last year, and I'm really enjoying that part, definitely.
I guess speaking about the championship standings, is there ever a pressure for you when you're a driver leading a race, leading the championship standings? How do you prepare to go into that race and not let that affect you mentally? I can imagine as myself, in my head, I'd be thinking,
Yeah.
don't mess up, please don't mess up. But you can't be thinking like that. You have to stay so laser focused on the race and your game and the strategy with the team. Do you find there's that added pressure, or are you quite cool, calm, and collected?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's always in the back of your head, but you have to try to get out of that. And in the end, when you're on track, you have to just focus on one thing, and that is being fast and doing your thing on track. So you can't be thinking about, oh, I can't make a mistake, because that just makes you go slower. So no, I mean, it's definitely something that is always there. You want to think about the championship.
Talk to me about Canada. We're slowly approaching the next F1 Academy race. Canada's a fantastic circuit, low to medium downforce. You've got fantastic straights there as well. Really difficult, demanding braking zones. How are you preparing for that race?
Well, I'm super excited, first of all. I've been preparing already, but I've been on the sim all morning, doing laps around Canada. And yeah, I really like the track. It's, as you said, very demanding. In terms of braking, there's a lot of braking zones close to walls. Obviously, the famous Wall of Champions. So no,
Yeah.
it's been really fun on the sim already. So I can't wait to go on track and see how fun it is in real life. But yeah, definitely the long straights will help for overtaking, which is good because we have the reverse grid races and race one. Well, we have 3 races, so it's gonna be a fun weekend. And yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it on the sim.
But then talk to me about, joining the F1 Academy grid, your second season in F1 Academy. What does it mean to you to race in a championship like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's yeah, as I said, great tracks, great places we're going to together with F1. So great visibility, and a lot to learn with that. So no, it's been really great, and I think yeah, we're going to the premiere actually tomorrow morning,
Oh,
to
yes.
see the
That's
Netflix series
exciting.
of last year. I think I'm more nervous about that than than the actual racing. But no, it's a great championship, and last year I learned a lot, and still this year I still learn every race quite a lot. So it's been great, and I'm excited to get going again in Montreal, because the break has been long already.
Yeah, you want to get straight back out on the
Yeah,
track again. I can't wait for the Netflix series to come out about F1 Academy. Drive to Survive was so successful. It's going to be amazing, but it just puts F1 Academy on that map even
Mhm.
further to bring in a new audience, new
Yeah,
fans, and obviously to
definitely.
get more girls into the sport as well. So I cannot wait to watch that.
One thing that I really want to know is how you found it being just a woman in motorsports, because obviously motorsports is a male dominated industry. You're in F1 Academy, but have you faced any challenges being a woman in motorsport, or do you just kind of block anything out that might be negative?
Well, to be honest, like I started when I was 7, so for me back then I was the only girl at the racetrack most of the times, and through the years there was maybe 1 or 2 girls on the whole paddock, or 3 maybe, when I started racing. So I got used to it, to being the only girl,
Yeah.
especially when you're 7, then it feels kind of normal, even though it isn't. So for me, I was just driving, and when I had my helmet on, it didn't really matter. But then, I mean, of course, guys don't like it when you beat them, but also girls don't like it when you when you beat them. So you just have to be doing your job and be fast, and then that's all you have to do. So for me, it was really, yeah, probably because I started so young, and it was like this in the beginning, that it felt kind of normal, even though it isn't, because now when I go back to karting, it's so much better. When I go to the
Yeah.
paddock and see every 10 minutes I walk around, I see a girl walking around, it makes me happy to see how much it's been progressing through the years already. And it's great with all these programs coming along, that it's really impacting the sport, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and I feel like when you love a sport so much, it doesn't really matter about things like that because you're just there to race. You're not there to worry about what other people think. So what advice would you give to young girls or just young people wanting to get into motorsport or move up the ranks in motorsport?
Well, I think the most important is to, well, if you really love it, then just go for it. Like everyone has to do what they love and what they like to do, and once you get into it, just don't really, as you said before, don't really think about what other people think about you, because yeah, you just have to do what is best for you, and to achieve your goals and to achieve your dreams, you just have to keep pushing. And I guess there's a lot of people saying that you can't do it, or that you shouldn't, or whatever, but you just have to keep going and keep pushing, and work hard for it, and I'm sure you can achieve great things.
One thing I've really been wanting to ask you is like, obviously you're extremely busy and, you're having to train like 6 days a week, which is a lot. And, I'm still at school and I film, quite a lot during the week, but how do you find time to still like, I guess, like see your friends away from motorsport or have time away from motorsport and relax? Like, do you have to like schedule it in or do you just like, do you have time?
You have to properly schedule it in. There's a lot going on. Um, I think now my count is on like 46 flights this year. So
Wow.
it's
Oh
quite
my
crazy.
gosh.
Um, no, I mean this year, because being with MP, it's closer to where my family is living, so I've seen them more often. Although they're coming less to the races because the races are so far, but at least I see them more often. Then my friends live in Spain, and I haven't been in Spain since August, so I have to go back soon because I haven't
Uh-huh.
seen them for a long time. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of scheduling, and I'm really bad at scheduling because
But
it's
at
really not
least
much fun
it
for me.
will show you who your true friends are because I'm sure that they'll, wait and make time to see you. So
Exactly.
at least you'll find out who
Exactly.
actually wants to be
Then
your
they'll
Exactly.
friend.
understand. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing with motorsport, obviously, especially in these races that have, a huge calendar and it's spread so globally. It is difficult to schedule, and then you're back to Italy and you're back training and all these things. How
Mhm.
do you get the time to go out and see friends? And that's difficulty I think everyone has, whether you're a presenter, engineer, driver, whatever it is so difficult to have a social life because the races are on the weekends and most people work Monday to Friday. So it is quite difficult, but I did want to chat more going back to that women representation in the sport. How do you see the landscape changing? You said it's changed from when you were 7 years old to
Mhm.
now. Do you see that changing again and seeing more women involved in the sport? I mean, I did a race over the weekend at Daytona Motorsport, 24-hour karting race, and I was commentating. And we were talking about, there was about 80 women involved in that event, whether they were racers or just spectators or marshals. And the commentator had been doing it for 10 years before this. And he said, we never had this at the beginning. So do you see that continuously changing in the sport and getting more women involved?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been growing, and I don't see why it shouldn't stop. It should stop growing, let's say. So I think it will just keep growing because the more young girls see that it's possible in F1 Academy, in F1, that there's more girls engineering and so on, and you girls also getting into motorsports. The more girls that are 6, 7 years old that see this, see that it's possible and that there's a way to do it. So I think it will grow quicker and quicker. I think because yeah, the numbers just keep adding up.
It's all about representation. If you see someone
Yeah.
doing something, then you
Yeah,
feel like you can do it. But if you never see it, then you're just automatically going to think it's not something that's meant for you. It's all
yeah,
about,
exactly.
seeing
That's
women in
correct.
all different areas of motorsport.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we need more representation. Okay, Maya, the last question before we move on to our lovely game of this or that. What does it mean to you to represent such an iconic brand like Scuderia Ferrari? How do you feel wearing that scarlet red uniform that you've got on right now? What's it feel to you?
I mean, it feels a great honor to be wearing it. Especially having the full red car is something very special. And yeah, I just remember the first day I got to put on the t-shirt. I just had goosebumps straight away. And walking
Aw.
into Maranello and training here and so on is just something that is a dream to any young girl or kid out there. So yeah, it's amazing, and
Aw.
I've been learning a lot from everyone in here. So yeah, I'm super happy to be a part of it.
Amazing. We absolutely love that. You are a massive inspiration to so many girls out there and just everyone involved in the motorsport industry. Really looking up to you, Maya. You're really, really flying the flag for Scuderia Ferrari, NP Motorsport, and the girls in this industry. Okay, now it's time to move on to our favourite part of the podcast, Scarlett. This or that. We're going to ask you some questions. Mine will be motorsport based. Scarlett's will be more generic to get to know a little bit more about you. Okay.
Is it like
Starting
a quick
off.
fire, or do I have to?
So we say it's quick fire, but most
people
of the
always end
time,
up talking.
We all debate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can think about your answers if you
Yeah.
want to.
Good.
Okay, the first one. Starting off with tracks on the F1 Academy calendar. Shanghai or Jeddah?
I will go for Shanghai because I got my first pole, but then I got the win in Jeddah. No, I'll go for Shanghai. No.
Difficult.
Okay, I go for Shanghai because I got the pole there. Yeah, I'll go for Shanghai.
We love that.
That was a difficult one. Okay,
Yeah.
mine is, do you prefer eating in or dining out?
I think eating in. I prefer to cook at home because we're traveling so much and you're
Yeah.
always like in a hotel or going for dinner somewhere. Then when I'm home and I can just cook myself, or my mom cooks or my dad. Well, usually it's my dad cooking. Yeah.
Okay, my next one for you, Maya, is sprint races or endurance racing?
I've never done endurance racing, so I have to go with sprint races.
Stick with the sprint races.
That was an easy one. That was an easy
Yeah.
one.
What about in karting? What were the longest stints that you were doing in go-karting?
I think the longest was, I think like 24 laps maybe or something. So not even half an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wrong question for you then, Maya.
Exactly.
Sprint races. We'll stick with that one.
Yeah.
Just say sprint races. Mine is early bird or night owl.
I'm fully early bird. Like
Me
at
too.
9 p.m. or something, I'm already too tired to think.
It's because you're so busy.
Exactly.
I don't know why, but I cannot be up late.
Because you're up obviously so early, then you can't be staying up super, super late. You got to sacrifice that in motorsport. You got those 6 a.m. starts or 7 a.m. starts. It's ridiculous, but that's what you need to do. Okay, my next one for you are street circuits or track, traditional track.
You're making it difficult for me because, I mean, the first actual street circuit I did was Singapore last year, and I really, really enjoyed that. But yeah, I mean, the normal, let's say, tracks, the traditional tracks, I mean, without them, it would also be boring, I guess. So, because, yeah, the overtaking is obviously not as easy on a street track. But, yeah, I really enjoyed Singapore. So, I don't know.
It's tricky. It is.
You're
really,
giving her
really
all the hard
tricky.
ones.
I know.
Yeah. But does Montreal count as a street track? Yes. Montreal
Yes.
is street track.
Uh-huh.
That seems to be very fun as well. Okay, let's go for street circuits because
Okay.
I'm enjoying them.
Street circuits. It's difficult. I think it's one that really divides motorsport fans on whether they prefer those street circuits or those traditional tracks, because the traditional tracks have so much history behind it.
Yeah,
At the same
exactly. So I
time-
cannot choose really.
Yeah, it's tricky, but then the
It's a
street
mean question,
circuits-
Amber.
Yeah,
It is.
it
I'm so
Mean
sorry. I'm so
question.
sorry. Because I think I would pick maybe from a spectator point of view, street circuits. From a racing point of view, traditional. That would be my answer.
I agree.
think.
I think it's a good answer.
It's tricky. It's tricky. Okay, time for Scarlett's last. This or that.
Oh, I have to pick a good one. Okay. I'm just going to go for summertime or wintertime.
Ooh, summertime. I can
Summertime.
go to the beach. Yes.
But then if you're
Winter is
racing
not-
in summertime, then you get too hot. So
It's okay. I mean, Singapore was okay last year, so if you survive Singapore, I think you can survive summer.
yeah, you'll be fine then.
Then you can do anything. I always think about that, the drivers in these really hot conditions. Obviously, I can only go off when we race in the summer in the UK, and obviously the UK is just crazy. Like the summers can be super, super hot, or it's raining the whole time.
Yeah.
Being in that kart suit, or I have a car suit, so yes, it's not the karting one, so it's not as thick. However, the sweat just from doing your races in those thick suits. So yeah, I can't imagine doing it in a hot climate like in Singapore. Crazy. So yeah, the pressure that you have to go through as drivers of your realm is just impeccable. To be able to keep up with those conditions is absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah, that's what training is for as well.
Yes. Make sure you prepare, make sure you train. Okay, that's all the questions that we've got for you, Maya. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. We cannot wait to see what you do for the rest of the season, leading the championship. Can you hold on to that lead? We hope so. But thank you so much. You're a massive inspiration. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. It was fun.